Greetings, programs. This is DecKrash, better known as Brandon, and you're watching another Tron Uprising review. Alright everyone, I am back, and I'm sorry. I've been wanting to do this every day, and things have just been getting in the way, but we are going to chug on. So we are up to episode 5, Identity. This episode, thus far, has been my favorite out of all of them. The plot was very tight. It was action-packed. And had a good amount of story development. Remember how in one of my previous videos I said that, you know, trying to pack a good amount of story development into a 25-minute frame is a hard thing to do. Okay, well, in this case they managed to do a lot of it. Now, this episode starts off with Beck trying to get on board the train. Then all of a sudden they have this emergency stop, and the little godlike female voice thing above says all programs need to present their identity discs for a random check. And so Beck has to get away because, of course, if they ever check his disc, they're going to realize who he really is. So this other program's like, you know, hiding on board. It's like, hey, you know, follow me. They do a distraction thing, and he gets on board the trains. They're kind of like, he's sitting like in between the two cars as the train moves on. Then he gets off at his stop, and then he realizes that program stole his disc. It's just one of those oh no moments, you know. And then you're thinking, okay, so what's the big deal? Well, this is another facet of things that were not clearly explained in the movie that were much better explained, and I really loved it. And the fact is this: every program needs their disc. It's sort of like their own memory. Without their discs, they actually start to forget who they really are, and that was what slowly was happening to Beck. So he had to go back to Tron to tell him what happened and get Tron's help to try to find that disc. Not only because, well, Beck was going to lose all his memory, but also because, of course, the data that's on that disc is going to reveal who Beck really is. Now, the cool thing is this. Well, really cool in the respect that it made for a very gripping storyline. And that, of course, was for it was explaining, you know, what happens when you lose your disc. He said you become a stray. And if any of you have seen Tron Legacy, and if you haven't seen Tron Legacy, go see Tron Legacy. Go get the DVD, please. Go and watch the freaking movie. You're gonna freaking love it. Okay. Fanboy rant off. Now, anyway, as I was saying, if you've seen Tron Legacy, seriously, go see it. There's a part where Sam first arrives, you know, in the computer world, and they have those guard programs come up to him, and he's like, this one has no disc, another stray. Well, now you know what a stray is. A stray was completely forgotten who he or she is because of the loss of their disc. And of course, the Tesla's troops, you know, find him out on the streets. They're just gonna swipe him up and throw him into the game grinder. You know, more fresh meat for the masses, or maybe even just make him a soldier in the army. So anyway, they go into like this older part of Argo City. It said it was there during the founding of the city, and now it's pretty much sort of a really slum or ghetto-ish area for programs. They're gonna start hitting up a whole bunch of pawn shops to try to find a disc. And this old program basically tells them, you know, well, I'll see if I can, you know, get some of my connections to find the disc. The thing is that the process of becoming a stray is a really slow process, and unfortunately kind of a really heartbreaking one, because you start, it's like Alzheimer's for programs. They slowly start to just fade away. They have moments where they'll just suddenly forget who they are, where they are, and then they'll just snap back to normal. But it starts getting more and more frequent until they completely forget everything. And that was what was happening to Beck. And along the way, they finally managed to find the program who had his disc. And this starts off one of the awesomest chase scenes ever. Now, I thought that the scene in Blackout with them doing the light cycle thing through the tunnels was really cool. But this was a light cycle chase through a city, and not only that, it just had some really amazing moments. Like this one moment where Beck takes the high ground and has to shoot his light cycle off of a bridge. He dereses a light cycle, turns it back into a baton, crashes into a building's window, tucks and rolls, jumps back up, starts running, moving past all these other programs that are in, I guess, in office buildings, like, excuse me, pardon me, coming through. And then he breaks through the window on the other side, jumps out in the middle of the air, pulls out his baton, reactivates the light cycle, and starts right back on the chase. It was just one of those blow your freaking mind moments. I loved it. You know, you can hear it in my voice, can't you? So anyway, the plot thickens when they find the program, and of course, they find out what really happened to the disc, because this other program, this girl claims to know who the guy was who took it, and she pledges to help Beck, but in the end, she ends up turning on him. Now, forgot to say, this whole time Tron is actually with Beck. And he's walking through the city in a more or less nondescript suit. He doesn't have the iconic little dotty T thing on his chest, and he has his face behind a polarized face mask, and he has it fixed, I guess, so that it can't come off, I guess, without his say so, because there is a part where someone tries to take it off. And so this whole time they team up with this female program to try to find his disc, and then she ends up turning on both Tron and Beck when you find out that she was working for that old program who they met in the pawn shop, who had the disc the whole time. And so what they were going to do was basically just turn Jet. Why did I say Jet? I've been playing the video game too much. I'll talk about the video game at a later time. Anyway, they were going to turn Beck over to the authorities and just have them make him into another soldier, seeing how this other program, I think, used to belong to the military at some point in time. So, of course, Tron ends up convincing this female program that he's not, that the guy that she's working for really doesn't care one whit about him. And she ends up turning on him and manages to get Beck back to normal. And this whole time, the reason why Beck's not fighting, they don't have him tied up or anything, he's just having those spells, those moments where he's like forgetting everything. Then they give him his disc back, and he's back to normal, and they manage to get away because this Tron reveals himself to that program. And also the other old program sees it, but he manages to bite the dust after a nice little battle. And the other program girl realizing that Tron really and truly is alive, that she thinks, okay, this renegade wasn't just a person who was masquerading as Tron, but believes it's Tron himself. She goes into the fray to fight off the other security programs, the guard programs, to make sure that Tron and Beck can escape. And she ends up giving her life for him. Now, through this whole deal, there's in the beginning of the episode, Tron cannot bring himself to tell Beck that he is his friend. But in the end, Tron does finally mention that Beck is his friend, and you find out why. He said that he was betrayed by a friend. Now, here's the deal. I thought he was mentioning maybe Clue, because maybe he thought that Clue was a friend. And of course, if you've seen the movie, see the movie, you know that that of course Clue turned on Tron and Flynn and took over the system. But I recently watched a little clip of an upcoming episode which shows that that might not be the betrayal that Tron is talking about. But we'll get to that at another time. So, as far as I can say, like I said, they had a good amount of character development and growth, introduction of some interesting characters who unfortunately end up dying. It seems like the body count just keeps rising with Beck's antics as this avatar of Tron, I guess you could call it. But it shows not only that, but a development in his relationship with Tron. So I really liked it all around, plus, of course, the additional information that was not expanded upon in the movie like I felt it should have. So it really, really, really was just great on every platform. I mean, solid 10. Strong 10. All around. Loved this episode. Okay. So, I think that's about it for now. And, of course, Lord willing, tomorrow I should be back with the next episode, Isolated. And so until then, people, like I said, comment, rate, subscribe. Keep it civil. I'd love to hear your feedback on this. I haven't really had much feedback on my other videos. But that's okay. I'm still going to keep doing this. And I'm going to still keep giving reviews. And we're slowly but surely going to catch up with where each episode is. And so until that time, and until next time, this is DecKrash, better known as Brandon. As always, stay lucky and stay blessed. See ya.